Hello everybody, welcome to a new video. My name's Isha and today I'm going to be doing my August reading wrap up. So I'm just going to show you all the books I read in August, and all the books I read this month were for an August reading challenge on this teen girls group I'm in on Goodreads. I was partnered up with somebody and there was different prompts and we had to read books according to those prompts to earn points. The books I read this month were like for those prompts. I think we ended up with 60 points and I'm not quite sure what place we came, but I feel like we probably came like third, but I'm not sure yet. I was supposed to be doing a September reading challenge. It's the 1st of September today, but they've not like put up the details on yet, so I'm not sure what's going on with that. But anyway, that one's supposed to be for like author based, so, and we're not partnered up with somebody. Aside for that, if it does happen. The first book I read in August was Beloved by Toni Morrison. My partner recommended this book because it had won an award and that was 20 points for that prompt. So I'd never heard of it before that. This was the winner of the Nobel Prize for Literature. I'll read the blurb. Terrible, unspeakable things happened to Seif at Sweet Home, the farm where she lived as a slave for so many years until she escaped to Ohio. Her new life was full of hope, but 18 years later she is still not free. Seif's new home is not only haunted by the memories of her past, but also by the ghost of her baby, who died nameless, and whose tombstone is engraved with a single word, beloved. Set during like the slave times, at the start there's this little like introduction, just like a kind of an author's note. And it does say in this, it's about Margaret Garner. She was a younger mother who escaped slavery, was arrested for killing one of her children and trying to kill the others, rather than let them be returned to the owner's plantation. So she basically killed her own child to protect them from going to slavery like she had. So it's a very interesting story and it's like based on that true story, but the book's not like, the book is fiction. Although I knew that like what it was based on, I was so surprised like when I found out it happened. I really enjoyed this book. I gave it 4 stars. Good read. I just realised that is not the first book I read this month. I actually read Confess by Colleen Hoover first. It was not for the challenge. I started reading this in the end of July, so then it kind of like went over into September, into August. So yeah, I got this from the college library. I thought to say Beloved, I ordered that off Amazon secondhand and it was like £3 I think. But anyway, yeah, so got it from the college library before summer. Yeah, I've read some of Colleen Hoover's work before. I actually really like Verity, and this book is about Auburn Reed has lost everything important to her. In her fight to rebuild her shattered life, she has her goals in sight and there is no room for mistakes. But when she walks into a Dallas art studio in search of a job, she doesn't expect to find a deep attraction to this enigmatic artist who works there, Owen Gentry. For once, Auburn takes a chance and puts her heart in control, only to discover that Owen is keeping a major secret from coming out. The magnitude of his past threatens to destroy everything Auburn loves most, and the only way to get her life back on track is to cut Owen out of it. To save their relationship, all Owen needs to do is confess. But in this case, the confession could be much more destructive than the actual sin. In her magnificent and exceptional style, Colleen Hoover delivers once again a deeply moving story about how true love and family are ties that can never be broken. I gave this book 3 stars because yeah, I enjoyed reading it, but it was like nothing like special. Like I probably forget about it. I don't know. Like it's just like a good book, but nothing great. What I liked about this book was how Owen was an artist, because like I like to do art myself. So that made it kind of interesting, and his style of art was interesting too, because there's like a box outside the studio and random people write confessions and then put it in, and then it does paintings based off of those confessions, which I think was a really interesting way to create art. And it actually does include some pictures of the paintings, which was cool. I know Colleen Hoover is like really hated. Like in my opinion, I think it's just like, I think she's overly hated. If you don't like her work, like I understand, but I feel like it's just a trend to kind of hate on her. You can dislike her book without having to like hate on the author so much. And people, like some people who haven't even read her work, hate on it and refuse to read it and like post stuff and just like. The next book I read was The Inheritance Games, and I've not got a physical copy right now because it's actually my cousin's, so it's at her house. I borrowed it, and that book is part of a series, which I think is the prompt it aligned with, so that was worth 20 points. That book it's kind of like a fantasy, I guess, but like in the real world. Is it a fantasy? I don't know. This girl, I can't remember her name. She's just like poor. She's living at her sister's, and one night she like slept in a car because she felt with her sister, and then she's also going to school. Mum died and she doesn't know who her dad is, I don't think. She goes to school one day and then she gets sent to the head teacher's office, and there's this guy, like in a suit, I think. He basically tells her he has to go to this place for a will reading of this guy who's just died called Tobias Hawthorne, and she's never heard of this guy, never met him, but she inherits all this money off him. Part of the will meant that she had to stay in the house for a year, and in that house lives Tobias Hawthorne's 4 grandchildren, Grayson, I can't remember all the names, but there's 4 brothers. And there's a little bit of romance in there. Tobias Hawthorne was known for like doing like riddles and stuff like that, so it's a mystery too, because they're trying to figure out why has she inherited all this money and all the things, and you know, it's like a mystery trying to figure all that out. I gave this book 4 stars. It's really fast paced, short chapters, just like, it was really good, but just not that 5-star feeling, you know. And I'm excited to read like the other books in the series, because I know there's like 3 more I think, and one of them's come out very recently, so yeah. Final book I read last month, was The Sun Is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon. I also got this from the college library. This is a YA book, and I really like YA books. I'll just read the blurb. The story of a girl, a boy in the universe, Natasha. I'm a girl who believes in science and facts, not fate, not destiny, or dreams that will never come true. I'm definitely not the kind of girl who meets a cute boy in a crowded New York City street and falls in love with him. Not when my family is 12 hours away from being deported to Jamaica. Falling in love with him won't be my story. Daniel. I've always been the good son, the good student, living up to my parents' high expectations, never the poet or the dreamer, but when I see her I forget all about that. Something about Natasha makes me think that fate has something much more extraordinary in store for both of us, the universe. Every moment in our lives has brought us to this single moment. A million futures lie before us. Which one will come true? So this book is like dual narrative. So we switch between Natasha and Daniel, but also like side characters like the waitress, the dad, the attorney. So it's really interesting because like every single character has like a backstory and you know all about them and stuff. So that's really interesting, and you get to see both of the perspectives. Again, this book 4 stars. What I enjoyed about this book was not particularly the romance, it was more just kind of like their different views of the world. So obviously Natasha is very logical and science, she likes stuff like science and stuff, but Daniel's more of a poet and you know that kind of vibe. So it was really interesting to like analyse the different personalities and like what they thought about the world and their view of the world. I saw like some of myself in Natasha and some of myself in Daniel. It was cool trying to figure out like which one I agree with more. I'm actually not quite sure, I don't know. I'm also excited to read Everything by Nicola Yoon. I've actually got a copy at home from what I got from the library too. So I don't know if I'll read that before I go back to college, but maybe I will. So there are all the books I read in August. I think it was a good reading month. I had no 5 stars, but I did have 2 last month, so I'm not complaining. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you next time. Bye.